For more on this, let's speak to Dr. Oguz Karasu, space economist and research fellow at said business school. Welcome back to the programme, Oguz. So if Europe wants to fix this problem before 2030, where does the money need to go? More rockets, more private companies, or a complete overhaul of its industry?
Well, it is a very important question. So when we look at the categories of the space industry overall, 8 to 10% actually belongs to the launch industry. But without that small portion, you cannot build the rest of it, which means you also, like said, satellite production, ground stations, or all the other projects. So that 8 to 10% is very important and strategic. So when we consider this strategic portion as a priority, you need to start investing heavily into that. So America has done that. China has done that. Russia has done that already. So when you ask me where does the money need to go, I will say it depends on your priorities. So Europe has set lots of priorities on the paper, but unfortunately they don't have enough money to invest into those. And so to be able to continue build a reliable launch industry, they need to have a consistent investment for launch industry as well. So without fixing that issue, they have to spend money for other countries' technologies.
Right, and as mentioned, SpaceX launched 170 rockets last year, while Europe managed just 8. Why are we seeing such a wide gap?
Well, because of the risk appetite and also government contracts. So SpaceX, of course, it is an exceptional example here, but they got 100 million investment at the beginning, and it took 4 years for them to do the first launch. But there is a company in Europe called Izar Aerospace, and that company got 450 million when we adjust with the inflation, etc., to compare with SpaceX. It took almost 7 years for them to do the first launch, and unfortunately they're still commercially not proven. So that means they haven't sent any satellite to orbit yet. Of course they do successful tests or sometimes explosion, but we need to see that commercialized. So to be able to see that, we need to first see an established risk appetite in the Europe, not like in the US maybe, but more than this right now, and also more government contracts, because European countries, unfortunately, they don't really demand any active, consistent satellite launches from Europe.
So if American providers can launch European satellites cheaper and faster, why doesn't Europe just buy American rather than produce its own?
Well, it is, autonomous access to space issue. So if you want to rely on other countries' technologies, you always become vulnerable, because it happened in the past. Americans, they let them down a couple of times in the past. Now they're being distant again to the Europeans. So if they want to rely on other countries, that means they cannot have a sustainable space connection, space access. So they can't rely on someone else's technology. I don't mean by that, of course, every country, every region needs to create their own launch capabilities. No, of course, sometimes you need to buy from the others, just like Americans do. They buy services from Russians still. So they send astronauts or to International Space Station, but it's not all the time. So if Europe wants to become an autonomous player in the space race, current space race, they need to invest more, and also they need to create more government contracts from their countries.
And Oz, we witnessed some fascinating space events yesterday, from the total lunar eclipse that we saw earlier to the Perseid meteor showers that drew in lots of crowds. Do events like this build public appetite for space?
Well, everyone loves space, and I was watching it as well. So, like all the astronomical like events, like solar eclipse, always excites us, even though we are like focusing more about the technical, like economic part of it. So we love watching like what's happening in space, and of course, people wants to see more like real actions related with space technologies, like going to the moon again, or like having human habitat on the moon or Mars, etc. So I think those kind of events especially excites the younger generations, and help them to invest into their education for space related topics.
Oz, we'll have to leave it there. Dr. Oguz Karasu in London, thank you very much for speaking to us.